Ladies and gentlemen, in recognition of Island Leadership Day, Menetrentai Sheti na Legislature in Guahan, the 37th Guam Legislature shall come to order. Senatorial representatives, upon hearing your name on the roll call, please rise. Could you read? Okay. Oh wait, I don't. Okay, Kayla Acevedo, sorry, Acevedo, Zeta Camacho, Gavin Duenas, Giada Findish, how do I say this? Sierra Herrera. Okay. How do I? Elena Manabat. Rianne Marquez. Sujin O. Do I just stand up or just? Okay. Caden D. Peter. Prince Ray Tyrone. Caleb Tagawa. And Kaori Toves. I will now administer the oath of office. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay. I solemnly swear, in the presence of Almighty God, that I will well and faithfully support the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the United States applicable to Guam, and the laws of Guam, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties as a senatorial representative of Imenetrentai Sheti na Legislature in Guahan, the 37th Guam Legislature. Senators, congratulations. Please be seated. Do I do the clap again? Okay. Imenetrentai Sheti na Legislature in Guahan is called to order. Majority Leader Senator Camacho, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to adopt today's legislative session agenda dated April 19, 2024.
A motion was made to adopt today's legislative session agenda dated April 19, 2024. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objection, motion carries. Majority Leader Senator Camacho, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to waive legislative session agenda items 2 through 6.
A motion was made to waive legislative session agenda items 2 through 6. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objection, motion carries.
Right here.
Just say clerk. Oh, okay. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Senator Acevedo, Senator Camacho, Senator Dueñas, Senator Findish, Senator Herrera, Senator Manabat, Senator Marquez, Speaker O, Senator Peter, Senator Tyron, Senator Tagawa, Senator Topez. Madam Speaker, there is a quorum.
Sejus Maasi, Clerk. Majority Leader Senator Camacho, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to waive, oh wait, are we this one? Oh, this one. Oh. I move to waive legislative session agenda items 8 through 12.
A motion was made to waive legislative session agenda items 8 through 12. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objection, motion carries. Majority Leader Senator Camacho, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move that bills introduced, bills number 10 to 37 through 13 to 37, and resolutions introduced. Resolutions number 3 to 37 through be deemed to have been given their first reading.
On the motion, are there any objections? If there are no objections, motion carries. We are in motions. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to excuse senators not present for today's legislative session.
On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, motion carries. Majority Leader Senator Camacho, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to place Bill number 37, actions on the session's agenda.
On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Senator, you are recognized.
Oh, dash 31. Yes. Oh. Again. Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill number 14-37, actions on the session agenda. An act to make Guam a safer community for residents and tourists by requiring the Guam Police Department to provide a heightened presence at village beaches, parks, and major roadways frequented by residents and tourists. Introduced by Kayla Acevedo and Zeta Camacho.
Please repeat the bill number.
Bill number 14-37.
On the motion to place Bill number 14 on the agenda, is there any objections? And do I say hearing? Hearing and seeing no objections, motion carried.
Okay. Okay.
Senator Tagawa, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to place Bill number 10-37 as introduced in the third reading file, and I wish to briefly discuss the measure.
We're not on second readings yet. We're still in motions. Are there any other motions to add bills to the agenda?
I move to place Bill 37 and read the title onto the agenda.
We currently have these bills on the agenda. Bill number 10-37, Bill number 11-37, Bill number 12-37, Bill number 13-37, Bill number 3-37, and Bill number 14-37. Senator Findish, you are recognized.
Why is it red? Hello. I'd like to make. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to make a motion to put the resolution number 4-37 LS relative to recognize the Purple Heart Foundation and to thanking them for their support and the veteran community on Guam and throughout the United States of America. Onto the session agenda. Thank you.
Is there any objections to adding the resolution to the agenda? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion is carried. Senator, please state your name.
Sierra Herrera.
Senator Herrera, you are recognized.
I make the motion to place Bill 15-37 LS on the session agenda as introduced by Sierra Herrera. An act to amend 6410 of Article 4, Chapter 6 of Title 17 Guam Code Annotated relative to intervening underage tobacco and electronic nicotine delivery system users on Guam.
On the motion to add 15-37, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion is carried. what do I say? Senator Toves. Senator Toves, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I motion to place Bill number 17-37 LS, an act to add a new Section 3223, Chapter 3 of Title 17 Guam Code Annotated to establish a driver's education curriculum to comply with requirements for a learner's permit on Section 2 agenda. On the second agenda.
On the motion to add Bill 16-37, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Senator Acevedo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the bill number 1737 LS, introduced by Sujin O, an act to add a new chapter 81 to Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated relative to establishing the 3D printing housing task force and to cite this act as the Sustainable Housing Act of the 2024 in the agenda.
On the motion of adding Bill 17-37, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Are there any more motions? If not, we will proceed to the second reading. We are in the second reading file. We have 9 bills. Each senator will have 5 minutes to introduce their bill or speak on another bill. Senator Tagawa, bill number 10-37.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to place Bill number 10-37 as introduced in the third reading file, and I wish to briefly discuss the measure.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Bill number 10-37 was introduced by myself, Caleb Tagawa, to address the alarming rise in electronic nicotine device systems, otherwise known as ENDS, used among minors. As we are all aware, the use of ENDS poses significant health risks, particularly for our younger population. Bill number 10 is an act to amend Section 6407 of Chapter 6, Title 11, Guam Code Annotated, relative to including parents, legal guardians, and/or caregivers of a minor to attend cessation classes for being caught with or using electronic nicotine device systems. We cannot ignore the fact that the use of ENDS among minors is on the rise, posing serious threats to their health and well-being. By involving parents, legal guardians, and caregivers in the cessation process, we aim to provide a comprehensive approach to tackling this issue. Education is key in combating the use of ENDS among our youth. By mandating participation in cessation classes administered by reputable government agencies such as the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, the Department of Public Health and Social Services, or the Department of Education, we can equip both minors and their caregivers with the necessary tools to overcome nicotine addiction. Furthermore, this bill underscores the importance of parental involvement in addressing substance abuse issues among minors. By actively engaging parents, legal guardians, and caregivers in the cessation process, we can foster a supportive environment conducive to positive behavioral change. I humbly ask my colleagues to support this bill, which seeks to safeguard the health and well-being of our youth by implementing proactive measures to combat ENDS use. Let us stand united in not only protecting our generation, but protecting the future generations of Guam from the harmful effects of nicotine addiction. Sizos Maasi.
On this bill, is there anybody who would like to speak and debate? If so, please raise your hand. Senator Acevedo, please state your name and which school you represent.
Senator Acevedo. I stand and support this bill because I believe that this bill will help keep our kids safe. And seeing how personally I see it in my school, how people are vaping and using these things that parents supply them with. And the reason why the parents supply them with this is because they don't know the harmful effects they would have on their children. So I believe this bill will help our kids be healthy and be in a safe environment altogether. So I stand and say yes to this bill, and I encourage my other colleagues to stand up for this bill as well.
Thank you, Senator Acevedo. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on the bill? If not, then the sponsor may close on the bill. Oh, sorry. Please state the name and the school that you represent.
Rianne Marquez, John F. Kennedy High School. Madam Speaker, I rise in support of this legislation and commend Senator Tagawa for his efforts in his bill regarding classes to hopefully end vape and nicotine users of kids. Parents are the first teachers and influencers of students. Therefore, they simply get their behavior from those that they look up to, and allowing the adults, such as the parents, to partake in these classes, the kids can hopefully learn from those that raise them, which can also enable them to adapt the lessons that they learned from their parents to improve their overall health. Thank you. I asked to be a co-sponsor of this bill.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on the bill? Senator Findish, please approach.
Hello. I also agree with my fellow colleagues. I do see a lot of vaping in my school, and I feel like it is a very big issue that has come, the past years. I feel like the parents have a lot to do with this, because it's getting more popular and more easier for parents to neglect their children, and by doing that, just giving them vapes and just letting them do whatever they want. So I think this is a really good idea on trying to stop that cause. Thank you. And I encourage my other colleagues to support this bill. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? If not, then the sponsor may close on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. One more thing, I move to add co-sponsors to the bill, Senator Rian Marquez.
On the motion to add co-sponsors, is there any objections?
I would also like to add Senator Kayla Acabero as a co-sponsor to my bill.
On the motion to add the two co-sponsors, are there any objections? Seeing and hearing no objections, the motion carries. Senator Tagawa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I motion to place Bill number 10-37 to the voting file.
On the motion to carry it to the third reading, are there any objections? Seeing and hearing no objections, the motion carries. We are now on bill number 11-37. Senator Duenas, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to motion to add Bill number 11-37, introduced by Gavin Duenas, an act to amend subsection 53105, 4B of Chapter 35, Division 5 of Title 5 Guam Code annotated, relative to maintenance and inspection of public highways and roads. To the third reading session.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hafaday, my name is Gavin Duenas, and it is with great honor that I am introducing Bill number 11-37. This bill aims to improve the maintenance, regulations, and inspections on our island's public highways and roads, imposing firm regulations on private agencies who construct these highways and roads. Will give the people of Guam assurance that we care about their safety and the conditions of Guam's transportation systems. We must implement specific guidelines to contractors and agencies to enforce a necessary change to the maintenance of the island's infrastructure. Bill number 11-37 intends to enforce fees equal to the deposit and bonds paid for by the agencies if highways, roads, and its encroachments are deemed insufficiently maintained. Companies and contractors will be held accountable to fund repairs and maintenance done by the Department of Public Works and may have their permits revoked upon failure to pay fees, fund repairs, or maintain their property. This bill will implement these policies and compel companies, contractors, and agencies to adhere to stricter guidelines, allowing Guam's highways to be preserved and properly sustained. Vehicular travel is Guam's #1 mode of transportation. It is imperative that we improve the condition of the infrastructure that allows this. The reliability of these implementations are of vital importance. So it is essential that we show the people of the island that we care about this common issue. Solving this issue starts at the bottom, with the people who build these roads for the island. Let us prove to the Chamorro people that we care about their basic necessities and the things that affect their daily lives. The roads, highways, and the rest of Guam's infrastructure are crucial to the functions of the island. Improving upon these systems and making revisions to our maintenance will clearly show progress in the eyes of the people in the future. Sizos Maasi.
Would anyone else like to speak on the topic? On the bill? Bill number 11-37. Senator Findish, please proceed.
Thank you. I also agree with what my colleague said about his bill. I think that anything that would enforce contractors or anyone to fix the roads is a very good idea because honestly, me personally, we drive on the same road to school and it is very rocky, it is very horrible, potholes everywhere. Every single time they try to fill it with asphalt, it just gets even more worse. And I think, really need to enforce that you should just rip the whole thing up, just do it right once. And, if you aren't good at repairs, just, don't do it. I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Senator Findish, thank you. Anybody else? Oh. Senator Tagawa, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of this bill as it will assist in ensuring our roads are properly maintained when constructed. We all know the state of our roads. Let's make it work to save our tires when we traverse on our roads. Sizos Maasi.
Thank you. Senator Marquez, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I rise in support of this legislation and commend Senator Gavin Duenas' bill regarding the inspection of public highways and railroads. We need to hold the people accountable for any problems that the island is going to be undergoing regarding their infrastructure. If they are not doing their job sufficiently or the job that they have been told to properly do, then I believe that there should be some kind of consequences formulated in order to hold them accountable. And I also encourage my colleagues to also support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Marquez. Senator Tovis, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also support and raise this bill, Senator Gavin Duenas, because our roads on Guam are pretty bad and we use it every day. So to provide the safety of everyone on Guam, I believe this bill should be raised and supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Toves. Is there anybody else? Senator Herrera, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in support of Senator Gavin Duenas' bill in order to increase communal safety for all Guam drivers. For the future of all Guam's residents, infrastructure on the island being upheld and upkept is the first step to a safer community, and I wish to be added as a co-sponsor for this bill.
Thank you, Senator Herrera.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
We are on Bill number 11-37 LS. Speaker Jino, you are recognized.
Hafa I support this bill, and I think that it's very good that we should add fees to people who are not doing their job properly. But of course, I do have some questions of clarification. My question would be, what is considered an insufficient repair, and who determines what is considered the insufficient repair?
With the author yield to the question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So to answer Senator O's question, it is already in Guam Code annotated that Department of Public Works does inspections on private companies that build roads. So to add on to that, they would determine what is an insufficient repair, and an insufficient repair would be a significant amount of potholes and an encroachment, damage to encroachments. And encroachments are street lights, road signs, the traffic lines, crosswalks, those are encroachments. So if there is sufficient damage or disrepair to those things, DPW would assess that and give an evaluation to the private companies and hold them responsible for those repairs. Thank you.
Speaker O.
Thank you for clarifying the question. I kindly ask to be a sponsor to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Speaker O. Is there anyone else who would like to be recognized on the bill? If not, then the sponsor may close on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank all my colleagues who have supported my bill, and I would like to motion to add Speaker O and Senator Herrera as co-sponsors on Bill number 11-37.
On that motion to add co-sponsors, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Please close on the bill. Oh, Senator Duenas, please close on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to motion Bill number 11-37 to the third reading voting file.
On that motion, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. We are now on Bill number 12-37. Senator Peter? Oh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to motion to add Bill number 12-37 to the third reading and discuss.
Please proceed.
Good afternoon. My name is Caden Peter, and Bill number 12-37 is trying to add how students should learn how to handle their emotional and mental health. By implementing this in the legislation, teens as old as me can view school as a supporting and nurturing environment. We can equip them with skills to thrive emotionally and academically. The only reason I am here today is because of my organized mind. Some teens suffer from anxiety and stress because of school, friends, family, and insecurities. Students need to learn how to handle stress and manage emotions. By putting into practice, students can feel calm and organized. They can achieve great things with a great mindset. I am a counseling aide at my school, so I hear all the problems my counselors hear. I have seen students getting angry, screaming, and crying about how they hate their life. It just isn't healthy how instead of talking about it and moving on, they just come back the next day and cry some more. I've seen students harming themselves and others. Some of these students have a really low self-esteem, which causes them to sometimes suffer from depression. They do not know how to cope and handle with stress. So with more ways to treat mental health, they can academically succeed. They can socialize with friends and family and overall become a better person. To do this, we could increase mental health professionals or add access to mental health. We could implement mental health curriculums, add peer support programs, or promote parent and guardian improvement, and evaluating and monitor progress. The future of these students remain uncertain, but with the right help, these students could dream big and hopefully make these dreams become reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peter. On the bill, is there anybody that would like to be recognized? Senator Tagawa, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in full support of this bill sponsored by Senator Caden Peter and thank him for his forward thinking. Today, more than ever, we find the need to provide support to all our students. The number of referrals in our DOE system is increasing every year. Including lessons on mental health in our schools will enable our students to know the signs and learn the ways to address such issues when stumbled upon. We should have done this years ago. I ask to be a co-sponsor of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tagawa. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this? Senator Findish, you may proceed.
Thank you. I agree what you're saying, but I had a question. How are you gonna have people come out to help those kids with their mental health issues? Because me personally, I've been on this road a few times, and it's very hard to find someone who will help you in that mental health journey, besides your counselors. And also, I wanted to know how, if the children who need that mental help, how are they gonna be able to stand up for themselves and ask, hey, I need help? Because sometimes, children or students or whoever needs the help, too shy or too scared to actually step up. So I wanted to know how you're actually gonna implement this. Thank you.
Would the sponsor yield to the question?
Yes. So basically, I'm planning to put in peer support programs. So not only will your friends be able to help you, but they'll also be able to check on you. And I'll also be wanting to add evaluating and monitor progress. So in my school, we have a home base. So every home base, you could just be writing out a report on how you've been feeling the last couple weeks. And, not only your teachers and friends, but you could also come up to your counselor. And not everyone has that confidence. So peer support programs might really help, especially because you're comfortable with your friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peter. Senator Findish, you have the floor.
Thank you for that answer. I want to give up a suggestion, maybe have more, or have everyone as a whole do an activity or what you were saying, or as an assembly, so no one feels left out or singled out. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Would anybody else like to speak? Senator Acevedo, please proceed.
I stand and support this bill. As you may know, the pandemic negatively impacted our students, especially during the most crucial times in their lifetime. I believe that this bill will help and guide our students in how they deal with such situations that are not typically taught in the classroom. I ask to be a co-sponsor of this bill.
Thank you, Senator Acevedo. Does anybody else want to speak on this subject? Senator Peter? Duenas? Okay. Senator Duenas, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I commend my colleague for highlighting this issue and also providing solutions to a very common issue among the youth. I wanted to ask, since you mentioned peer support and peer programs, would the peers who participate in these programs be compensated, such as service learning, or would it be solely voluntary? Thank you.
Senator Peter, will you yield to the question?
I would like to answer this question. Of course, we're not trying to force anyone to do anything. So if you want to go into the peer program, you could go into the peer program. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But, it's all because if you have mental health issues, you could just go to a friend. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peter. Senator Duenas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Senator Peter, for answering my question. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, then the sponsor may close.
I would like to motion to add Senator Acevedo and Senator Takawa to be a co-sponsor.
On that motion, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Senator Peter.
I would also like to motion to add Bill number 12 to 37 to the third reading voting file.
On that motion, any objections? Hearing and seeing no objection, the motion carries. We are now on Bill number 13-37. Senator Tyron, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I motion to place Bill number 1337, an act to add a new Article 4 to Chapter 77, Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code, annotated related to enhancing the safety and security of Guam students during drop-off and pick-up times by establishing a partnership between schools and the Guam Park Police to patrol and supervise the Paseo drop-off on area. The third reading file. I would like to speak on the bill. Thank you.
Please proceed.
The Paseo school drop-off area is currently unsupervised and may be deemed dangerous and unsafe for students. With no adult to supervise or patrol the drop-off point, and given the number of students from various schools with utilize the Paseo drop-off area, students are put at risk of being threatened or hurt. Further finds that due to lack of supervision, students have chosen Paseo drop-off area for locations to start riots, fights, or engage in disorderly conduct. In the past academic year, several fights have broken out, resulting in students getting injured and the incidents being broadcasted on social media. This also creates a vulnerable and defenseless environment for the students, as the outsiders can engage with them in inappropriate or unsafe activities. Therefore, intends to remedy the situation by establishing a partnership between schools and the Guam Park Police to patrol and supervise the Paseo drop-off area. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tyrone. Would anybody like to speak? Senator Duenas, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I commend my colleague for bringing up the issue, and I also agree that all those schools there being dropped off and it being unsupervised is unsafe. But I wanted to ask, since the Guam Park Police will be the one patrolling these areas, how can we also have the manpower to make sure that the park itself is safe, because that is their job firstly?
Thank you, Senator Duenas. Would anybody else like to speak? Oh. Would the sponsor yield to the question? Oh, I did not hear.
May you please repeat the question?
So my question was, since the Guam Park Police will be the one patrolling and supervising these areas, how can we also determine if the park will be kept safe? Because keeping the park safe is in their job title. So how can we have the manpower to keep both areas safe? And yeah.
Senator Tyrone.
To answer your question, the Park Patrol headquarters is down there at Paseo, and they already patrol the area, but they'll only be patrolling it for 2 hours in the morning and after school time. Thank you.
Senator Duenas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Senator Tyron, for answering my question.
Would anybody else like to speak? Senator Findish, you may proceed.
Thank you. I would just like to say that the area that the kids are getting dropped off, there, I believe there is the Guam Police parking office right next to it. So I think it would be, pretty easy to have people come up and supervise the area. So, yeah.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Would anybody else like to speak? If not, then the sponsor may close. Senator Tyrone.
I would like to thank my colleagues for supporting this bill, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tyrone. On the motion to place this bill into the third reading, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. We are now on resolution number 3-37. Senator Marquez. You are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I, Rianne Marquez, introduce Resolution 3-37 LS relative to recognizing Colette G. Beausoleil for her dedication to the success of the students of John F. Kennedy High School and commending her for her invaluable contributions spanning over 34 years of teaching. Ms. Colette G. Beausoleil has been a devoted science teacher who had recently won Guam's Teacher of the Year Award for school year 2023. Her teaching strategies have enabled her students to acquire outstanding futures ahead, many attending or to attend prestigious schools like Princeton and Stanford while qualifying for full-year scholarships. Her efforts in instilling different extracurricular opportunities further display how much she cares for the well-being of the students both inside and outside of campus. She emphasizes never settling for mediocrity and always trying regardless of any outcome. And because of this, she holds a great reputation in the great success of many Islanders in the John F. Kennedy High School. I humbly ask my colleagues to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Marquez. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on the resolution? Senator Findish, you may proceed.
Thank you. On this topic, I really agree on trying to commemorate teachers for their good work because I recognize that Ms. Beausoleil is a STEM teacher, and I just want to say I have a really good physics teacher at my school. Her name is Miss Macalino. She's my favorite teacher. And I just want to say that I hold something near to what my colleague is saying and wanting to support teachers and wanting to commemorate them for their good work, because I also really appreciate their great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? If not, then the sponsor may close.
Madam Speaker, I am okay and I don't want to close. I just ask for my colleagues' support of my resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Marquez. On the motion to place the resolution into the third reading file, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. We are now on bill number 14-37. Senator Acevedo and Senator Camacho, please proceed.
I ask to move Bill number 1437 LS, an act to make Guam a safer community for residents and tourists by requiring the Guam Police Department to provide a heightened presence at village beaches, parks, and major roadways frequented by residents and tourists. Introduced by Kayla Acevedo and Zeta Camacho.
Please proceed.
We find that Guam is a small, close-knit community that has overcome challenges of typhoons and most recently, a global public health emergency. We further find that as Guam takes more steps to reopen our tourism industry and welcome thousands of visitors from across the world, the government of Guam, we must do more to better protect our families and those who take the time and spend money to visit our beautiful island. Therefore, we intend to require the Guam Police Department to increase their presence at village beaches, parks, and major roadways frequented by residents and tourists. Guam's economy is heavily reliant on tourism, and as such, we must guarantee the safety of our guests and those who call Guam home.
An example of this can be seen in a recent case in the month of January 2024. A man was suspected of fatally shooting a South Korean tourist during a robbery. He was found dead with a self-inflicting gunshot wound. The Guam Police Department is required by this act to provide at least 2 officers per shift to patrol village beaches, parks, and major roadways, including but not limited to Palizan Victorious Road and the areas near Old Guam Memorial Hospital and Gun Beach, in Arahan Natural Poles, 2 Lovers Point, and Fort Soledad. The Guam Police Department is required to provide monthly reports to the governor and the senator and legislator in charge of public safety. The reports must summarize the steps GPD has taken in the previous 30 days to assign at least 2 officers per shift to patrol village beaches, parks, and major roadways frequented by residents and tourists.
This is important to us because since the global pandemic, it has affected the tourist industry negatively. This severely impacted Guam because tourism plays a big role in our economy. To combat this, we must ensure that Guam is safe for our guests and residents to make sure that our economy is secured. Thank you.
Thank you, Senators Acevedo and Camacho. Is there anybody who would like to speak on the topic? Senator Peter, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to say that I really support this bill because especially most of because of most of Guam's money comes from tourists, and especially because murder is a very scary thing. So I hope that more police come out and help us, and I would also ask to become a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peter. Anybody else? Senator Findish, you may proceed.
Sorry. Thank you. I also agree. I also think it would be a good idea to give some of our money to try and put more order into our parks and roadways and all that, especially because, you know, the tourism is a very big part of our economy, and I think giving some money would also give us some profit. Making tourists feel more safe should be a big priority, and also the locals should be a priority. That way you can probably get some more money because more tourists want to come, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on the topic? Senator Marquez, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of Bill number 14-37 LS. Being a student at John F. Kennedy High School, the heart of Tumon, it is starting to become frequent for me to notice accidents and crimes occurring in such tourist areas. And by upholding the presence of the Guam Police Department in village beaches and major roadways, the security is strengthened, which not only helps the tourists or those visiting the island, but also the locals who live nearby these villages. And although different people have their own opinion on tourism being heavily present on Guam, I can guarantee that violence is not the answer to try and solve these kinds of instances. And I wish to be added as a co-sponsor for this bill.
Thank you, Senator Marquez. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Can I ask Senator Findish to please approach the podium?
Is there anybody who would like to be recognized on the bill? Speaker O. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this bill?
I support this bill. I think that it's nice that the police are not only going in tourism areas, but not only are they just moderating the tourism areas, but they're also moderating like the entire island as itself. Because a lot of the tourism areas are spread out across the island, so it doesn't just mean that they're going to just tourism area just to protect the tourists, but it also means that they're protecting the locals that are on this island. I would kindly ask the sponsors to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Speaker O. Would anyone else like to be recognized on this bill? If not, then the sponsor may close on this bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to add Senator Peter, Senator Marquez, and Speaker O as a co-sponsor of this bill.
On the motion, is there any objection? If no objection, then motion carried. Senator Acevedo, you are recognized.
Thank you, everyone who has spoken on the bill. I wish to move Bill 1437 LS to the third reading voting file.
On the motion to place the bill on the third reading, is there any objection? If there's no objection, the bill can be motioned passed. Motion carried.
We are now on Bill 10-37. Oh, sorry, never mind. We are now on Resolution 4-37. Yeah. Miss. Oh. Senator Findish. You are recognized.
Thank you. I want to. I'm sorry. Sorry. Hi, thank you. I want to ask for my colleagues' support to pass this resolution number 4-37 LS relative to recognizing the Purple Heart Foundation and to thanking them for their support of the veteran community on Guam and throughout the United States of America. So,
please proceed.
I'm inspired to recommend the Purple Heart.
Sorry. Senator Acevedo.
On a point of information, do we have a copy of this resolution?
We do.
Thank you.
Senator Findish, you may proceed.
Thank you. I'm inspired to commemorate on this Purple Heart Foundation because I had an opportunity to meet Mr. Tom Devlin, who gave me a little bit more understanding on what a Purple Heart veteran's life is and also how the foundation can really help them. So during my conversation with Mr. Tom Devlin, he gave me a lot of controversial topics on how, really the Purple Heart community sometimes can view them as heroes when they don't really want to. But also I think that's, I think that's not really what he was trying to say, because I know I did some research, the Purple Heart Foundation, they donate and a lot of money and resources to provide critical assistance to honorable discharged veterans that face financial hardships, and they're also a non-profit organization. I also want to say that I was inspired to recommend this because I was drawn to the purple and the Purple Heart because it is my favorite color, and I believe in what the foundation is doing. My father is in the military, and I know from firsthand experience on what some financial hardships is what's like. So I just want to commemorate this foundation for what it's doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Is there any? Oh, okay. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody that would like to speak on the subject? On the resolution? Senator Peter, please proceed.
Sorry. I would also like to support this resolution because my father was also a Marine, and I would also ask if I could become a co-sponsor too.
Thank you, Senator Peter. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Senator Acevedo, please approach the podium.
On the resolution, is there anyone who would like to speak? Speaker O.
Hafade. I think this resolution is actually really nice as it thanks people for their service that they did. And not only this, but it also shows that we really do care, and it's not something that we just do because it's something that people just decide to do. It's because we actually care and we want to show that we care for it. And so I kindly ask the sponsor to be added as a co-sponsor to this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Would anyone else like to speak? Senator Acevedo, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand and support this resolution. As having family members in the Army, I believe that this bill helps them greatly, especially what they do for our island. So I ask to be added as a co-sponsor to this resolution.
Thank you, Senator Acevedo. Does anybody else have anything to say? If not, the sponsor may close on the resolution.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my colleagues for the support of my resolution. I also like to thank Mr. Tom Devlin for giving me a very good story on to talk about and also to put in my resolution. So yeah, thank you so much. I'd also like to make a motion to move to the third reading file.
On the motion to move resolution 4-37 to the third reading file, are there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objection, the motion carries. We We are now on Bill 15-37. Senator Herrera, you are recognized.
Thank you, Speaker O. I move to place Bill 15-37 LS in the third reading file and wish to discuss.
Please proceed.
Since 2015, the increase in youth involvement in tobacco and ends products use on the island has proven to be a demanding issue for Guam's public school students. Students all around the island have found this misuse to be a form of coping with their everyday struggles, coping to include dealing with or handling struggles such as succeeding in school, familial issues, mental health, peer pressure, among others. The 2021 Guam State Epi-Profile statistics has shown that in 2019, among 30,000 participants, 68.6% of high school students and 49% among middle school students have reportedly participated in the lifetime use of these products. These statistics can be further translated into 1 in 3 of high school students and 1 in 3 of middle school students. Although current Guam law has enforced that possession, use, and purchasing of tobacco and ends products on Guam can be is regulated to persons of or above the age of 21. Illegally obtaining of tobacco and ends products by the youth of Guam is an issue that requires immediate attention and action. Often, the first method of response in the education system has been suspension or expulsion, a disciplinary action given in an attempt to punish the student for their irresponsibility in hopes of regulating any future use. However, not only does this consequence inadequately target the issue itself, but it deters authority from handling the issue themselves, thus leaving the issue present for a secondary body to handle. Therefore, in order to more adequately tackle this issue within the youth of our island, it is wiser to dive into how an individual may turn towards this method of coping. In order to truly address the increasing rate in which youth on the island become involved with the illegal use of these products, through this bill, action steps will be required to be implemented into educational institutions to help tackle the issue by providing a middle ground for the struggling individual to explore an alternative method of solution, aimed to first deter the individual from their initial addiction. Under this action plan, all individuals who are found to violate the age requirement for legal use of these products will serve under the following. To begin with, the enrollment into a mandatory smoking cessation course to be completed within the school year of their offense and submit a certification of completion to be submitted to their school. Should the individual fail to uphold this requirement, their failure will be then required to complete a community service hours within the school year of the offense and submit a certification of completion to be submitted to the school. Should the individual fail to complete both of the aforesaid action steps, the convicted individual will then require that their parent or legal guardian will be held responsible to serve either of the aforesaid action plan steps, or to be levied a fine of $500 to be deposited into the Youth Tobacco Education and Prevention Fund. Failure to complete all 3 of the aforesaid action steps will result in a permanent infraction on the individual's student record. I kindly ask for my colleagues' support in the passage of this bill. Sizuus Maasi.
Thank you, Senator Herrera. Is there anybody that would like to speak on the subject? Senator Duenas, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank my colleague, Senator Herrera, for bringing up this issue and also introducing a positive reinforcement system. Having the negative reinforcement system, like just immediate suspension or expulsion, doesn't do anything to prevent the students from doing this. It just sends them home to continue to do this activity. So I believe having this tier system of punishment would help prevent further use of tobacco and ends products. So starting them off in a course would be more effective than sending them home. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Duenas.
Sorry, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor to this bill.
Thank you, Senator Duenas. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Senator Peter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to say that I have also seen students vaping, and even after suspension, they will come back and do it again. So by giving them more punishments or more alternate ways to stop vaping, I think is a really good idea. And I would also like to ask to become a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peter. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Senator Findish.
Thank you. I had some concerns regarding this topic. The third act on this bill saying that your parent should become responsible for it on the third offense, I believe. I had a suggestion. I feel like the parent should be involved with this from the very first moment that they know that their child is using these substances, and I just wanted to voice my concern, as well as I also wanted to be a co-sponsor of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Findish. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? If not, then the sponsor may close.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to move to add co-sponsors Senators Dueñas, Peter, and Findish onto my bill.
On that motion, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Senator Herrera.
Thank you to all my colleagues who have spoken on the bill. In an effort to redirect the island of Guam youth, this action plan will replace suspension and expulsion as a first-hand consequence to the use of tobacco and ENDS products in the youth on the island, and will be replaced with the aforesaid action plan. By remodeling the process in which educational institutions handle the issue of tobacco and ENDS products use in the youth, there will be a more significant change through this method of positive reinforcement in the effectiveness of deterring and prohibiting future youth involvement in the illegal use of tobacco and ENDS products. I move to place this in the third reading file.
On that motion to place the bill to the third reading file, is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. We are now on Bill number 16-37. Senator Toves, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hafaday, my name is Kioi Tovis. I would like to motion to place Bill number 16-37 LS, an act to add a new Section 3223, Chapter 3 of Title 17, Guam Coded Annotated, to establish a driver's education curriculum to comply with requirements for a learner's permit. In the third reading file, I would like to discuss my motion. All secondary schools on Guam do not have or require a driver's ed course in their curriculum. A driver's license is used daily in our lives, either it be driving ourselves to and from a place or having a person with a driver's license driving from place to place. With the class being provided in a school setting, it gives our students who may not have their own personal resources and time after school to conduct such steps in getting their Step 1 learner's permit. This also gives students the opportunity to receive their Step 1 learner's permit safely and properly, instead of skipping this important process and driving illegally. Some students taking the learner's permit test through private driver education companies have a high failure rate and are required to retake the test. I believe with a more comfortable and familiar environment setting in a classroom in their own school, students of age may be able to have a successful journey on receiving their requirements for a Step 1 learner's permit. I kindly ask my colleagues for their support on this bill.
Thank you, Senator Toves. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Senator Dueñas, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Since this program will be implemented into the public school system, I wanted to ask if this will be a required credit for incoming freshmen or sophomores.
Will the sponsor yield to the question?
Yes, I would yield to question. Wait, can you are you able to reiterate your question? Restate your question?
Senator, please restate your question, or re-say.
My question was for the public school students that will be doing this program, will it be a required credit for the incoming freshmen and sophomores?
Senator Toves.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Senator Duenas. No, this won't be a required course. It can serve as an elective under the career college and readiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Toves. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on the subject? Senator, Senator Marquez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of Bill number 16-37. As students attend school every day, students are more likely to act on attaining their learning driver's permit if it were already to be given to them as a course in school. And it also serves as a benefit for students who may have a hard time finding ways on trying to get their learning driver's permit in outside their school or just outside school setting. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Marquez. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Senator Findish.
Thank you. I'd like to say that I don't agree with this because there is a lot of other things that to be focused on at school other than a learning course, as well as I have took the permit test and it is very easy. All you need is a handbook and maybe look over at it and stuff. And I just want to say it's a waste of resources. And also, I had a question. Would this class be a whole entire, just like a regular course at school, like 2 semesters long? Or, because I really don't think you need a whole 2 semesters to learn about driving just for your permit test. Thank you.
Would the sponsor yield to the question?
Yes, I yield to the question. No, the course does not take 2 semesters because it would probably take a month and a half. It's very reasonable timing. You take the course and you take the test, which would probably take a month and a half, not 2 years, or 1 year, 2 semesters. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Toves. Senator Findish, you are recognized.
Thank you for answering my question, but I still don't agree with a whole month. I think that is a little too excessive of a time. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to be recognized? Senator Acevedo.
Thank you. I stand and support this bill. In personal experience, I've seen many young drivers who get into accidents or get tickets. And I believe that implementing this bill will decrease the risk of them getting into any accidents and becoming a more safe driver. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? If not, then the sponsor may close on the bill. Senator Toves.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you to all my colleagues who've spoken on my bill. I know one of my colleagues had an objection about it being a waste of time and that the permit test is pretty easy, but that's an opinion, that's your skill level. Not everyone may be on your skill level, and this is, for example, it's a school course, not just a personal course. But thank you to all my colleagues who've spoken on my bill. I move to place this in the third reading file. If none of my colleagues object, I ask for all my colleagues to co-sponsor on this bill, on Bill 16-37 LS.
On the motion to add all colleagues as co-sponsors, are there any objections? Senator Findish? Okay.
I object to being a co-sponsor. Thank you.
How many are there?
I object to being a co-sponsor.
On the motion to all co-sponsors who did not object to being co-sponsors.
I also object to become a co-sponsor.
On the motion to add co-sponsors, on the exception of, do I say their names? Senator Duenas, Senator Peter, and Senator Findish. Is there any objections? Hearing and seeing no objections, the motion carries. Is there any on the motion to place the bill to third reading, are there any objections? On the motion, hearing and seeing no objection, the motion carries.
We are now on Bill 1737. Speaker O, you are recognized.
Hafaday. My bill is introduced by the Committee of Health, Land, Justice, and Culture, an act to add a new Chapter 81 to Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code, annotating relative to establishing the 3D Printing Housing Task Force, and to cite this act as Sustainable House Act of 2024. I would like to discuss it. Low cost on Guam comparing to normal housing. Average housing on Guam is about $100,000, but for 3D printing houses, it could be as low as $10,000. If it is lower, it creates a bigger profit margin and is more affordable to make on our island, making it more accessible to the people of Guam. And this is important, as it is a small island and large populations are middle class. There's not a big difference in between the rich and the poor, and as more accessible things, it is easier for the quality of life. This way, people can buy more groceries or add more things to the things they want to do. An exclusive practice that functions to the benefit entirety of Guam and empowering Guam's culture. This is also very good for the lower income households on Guam. Another reason why this would be very good is because it takes much less time printing. It can print for a certain amount of time. An example is, as found, one time it was taken 6 days for the completion in-house, and this printer was only printing 6 hours per day. As it takes much less compared to a construction house, which takes a much longer period of time and could take several hundred days. Not only this, but it generates a lot of profit and doesn't cost as much as the housing on Guam. The average housing on Guam is about okay, I didn't put that, but the average of housing on Guam is very high, but with 3D printing, it can become much lower. And also, not only this, but with everything happening on Guam, it's really good to have the extra money, considering the fact that typhoons may come, and these concrete houses are one of the ones that can make sure that they have stable facilities and has stable walls to make sure that no typhoons can go through them. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker O. Is there anyone who would like to be recognized on this bill? Senator Duenas.
Thank you. I would like to commend my colleague for bringing up affordable housing and finding a sustainable, environmentally friendly solution, as well as a cost-efficient solution. And I would like to co-sponsor this bill.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Senator Peter.
Thank you, Madam. Oh, thank you. I just have a question. Is there rebar, is it as strong as the ones we have right now?
Will the sponsor yield to the question?
Yes, thank you for the question. I would think that they would be some stronger as they're constructed more as on computers. And not only this, but they're also constructed more as a holding, like walls that are more stable, as they're not just done by humans, they're more done by computers, which means that they're able to be constructed with less mistakes, which would mean that they should be more stable compared to normal houses on our island. Also, they're all made out of concrete, so it should be pretty easy.
Senator Peter, you have the floor.
Thank you for answering my question. And yeah, I think this is a pretty good idea, especially because how high the rents are these days. And I would also like to become a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this bill? Senator Findish.
Thank you. I'd like to agree with this bill. I think it's a very good idea to start moving on to the future and looking for more ways to solve this problem that we have, which the housing in Guam is very expensive and it does get damaged a lot due to typhoons, and I feel like this is a very good way. So thank you, and I'd like to be a co-sponsor for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Senator Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to commend Senator O's bill to implement a 3D printing method of living on Guam, as it would be, I agree that it would be cost effective and very efficient for the future of sustainability on the island, and I would like to humbly request to be a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this bill? If not, then the sponsor may close on this bill.
I want to thank all my colleagues for supporting the bill, and I'd like to add Senator Duenas, Senator Peter, and Senator Findish as co-sponsor. And Senator Herrera. Again, I appreciate the input of my colleagues for this measure in creating a task force.
On the motion to add co-sponsors, is there any objections? No objection, motion carries.
This act, as the Sustainable Housing Act, would... sorry.
Please proceed, Speaker O.
This act, as the Sustainable Housing Act, would combat any outgoing housing crises, but would support initiatives of inclusive and accessibility for living on Guam for Guam residents. Processing our goals to align and support the people of Guam at the local level. We are capable of providing new transitional housing for which we can serve homeless individuals and unsheltered children. I thank my colleagues again for their support. And then I motion to place Bill 17-37 on the third reading, how do I say that? File, sorry.
On that motion, is there any objections? Seeing no objections, motion carries.
Third reading file. We are now on the third reading file. Bill 10-37. Please, clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 10-37 LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Caleb Tagawa, Rianne Maria I. Marquez, Kayla Acevedo, an act to amend Section 6407 of Chapter 6, Title 11, Guam Code Annotated, relative to including parents, legal guardians, and/or caregivers of a minor to attend cessation classes for being caught with or using electronic nicotine device systems ends.
All in favor of Bill 10, please raise your hand. Real loud? Okay. All in favor of Bill 10, please raise your hand. Bill passes. Bill number 11-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 11-37 LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Gavin Duenas, Sujin O, Sierra Herrera, an act to amend Section 53105B, 4B of Chapter 35, Division 5 of Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to maintenance and inspection of public highways and roads.
All in favor, all in favor of Bill number 11-37, please raise your hand. Ten in favor, bill passes. All opposed? Bill number 12-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 12-37 LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Caden Peter, Kayla Acevedo, Caleb Tagawa, an act to add to Section 4121B of Chapter 4, Division 2 of Title 17, Guam Code Annotated, relative to adding mental health lessons.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you are in favor. Please put your hands down, and all opposed, please raise your hand. The bill is passed unanimously. Bill number 13-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 13-37 LS, introduced by Prince Ray Tyron, an act to add a new Article 4 to Chapter 77, Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, relative to enhancing the safety and security of Guam students during drop-off and pickup times by establishing a partnership between schools and the Guam Park Police to patrol and supervise the Paseo drop-off area.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Bill passes. Resolution 3-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution number 3-37LS, introduced by Rianne Maria Marquez, relative to recognizing Colette G. Bossier for her dedication to the success of the students of John F. Kennedy High School and commending her for invaluable contributions spanning over 34 years of teaching.
All in favor? Please raise your hand. Unanimous. Resolution passes. Bill 14-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 14-37LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Kayla Acevedo, Zeta Camacho, Caden Peter, Rianne Maria Marquez, Sujin O, an act to make Guam a safer community for residents and tourists by requiring the Guam Police Department to provide a heightened presence at village beaches, parks, and major roadways frequented by residents and tourists.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Bill passes. Resolution 4-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution number 4-37LS, introduced by Giada Findish, relative to recognizing the Purple Heart Foundation and to thanking them for their support of the veteran community on Guam and throughout the United States of America.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Eleven in favor, bill passes. Bill 15-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 15-37LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Sierra Herrera, Gavin Duenas, Caden Peter, Giada Findish, an act to amend Section 6410 of Article 4, Chapter 6 of Title 17, Guam Code Annotated, relative to intervening underage tobacco and electronic nicotine delivery system ends, users on Guam.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Bill pass.
What number was that?
Okay. Bill 16-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 16-37LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Kaori Toves, Kayla Acevedo, Zeta Camacho, Sierra Herrera, Rianne Maria Marquez, Sujin O, Prince Ray Tyron, Caleb Tagawa, an act to add a new section 3223, Chapter 3 of Title 17, Guam Code Annotated, to establish a driver's education curriculum to comply with requirements for a learner's permit.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Eight votes. Bill passes. Bill 17-37. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 17-37LS, as amended on the floor, introduced by Sujin O, Gavin Duenas, Caden Peter, Giada Findish, Sierra Herrera, an act to add a new Chapter 81 to Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, relative to establishing the 3D Printing Housing Task Force, and to cite this act as the Sustainable Housing Act of 2024.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Bill passed. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
This one? This one? Okay, then. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to adjourn this session subject to the call of the Speaker.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. Good job, and I'm so proud of you guys. On the motion to adjourn, is there any objections? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Want to be Youth Congress. Youth Congress, okay. Yeah, you'll run next year?
Test. Half a day, everyone. Welcome to Island Leadership Day 2024. I'd like to recognize our Deputy Director of the Department of Youth Affairs, Mr. Michael Weekly. Please come down. Come down for our certificate presentation, Mr. Director. Okay. Today was a very eventful day with all of our youth leaders for Island Leadership Day, our youth counterparts who served as senators of the 37th Guam Legislature. Can we have a show of hands? Who wants to be a senator? Yeah. Okay, so you know it's not an easy job. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of research, a lot of debate. Were you nervous today? Okay, it was a little overwhelming, but you all did an awesome job. Can we please give our youth counterparts a round of applause? Joe from the Office of Finance and Budget, he said, we should not call this a mock session. We should call this a model session because you were exemplary models of how we should act on the floor of the legislature. Very dignified, respectful, intelligent. We are very impressed with everything that you did today. And please don't be surprised if one of the bills that you introduced and passed will be introduced by your counterpart senator in just a few days because it's happened before. But right now, I'd like to thank all of the DYA staff who are here, who made this day possible. Thank you for being here and for organizing all of this. And to all of our staff here in the legislature, thank you very much for coordinating, for taking care of our youth counterparts, for teaching them the policy process, and to our clerks for helping us in this mock session. So now we will recognize all of our youth leaders with a certificate from the Guam Legislature. And this is a certificate of recognition to each of you for your participation as senator in the 2024 Island Leadership Day and commending you for your initiative, leadership potential, and serving as an inspiration to your peers, which reflects your dedication to shaping a brighter future for the island. So when you hear your name called, please come up and have your counterpart senator with you. And this is, again, our Deputy Director from the Department of Youth Affairs, here to congratulate all of you. And our Speaker Therese Terlahi, and all the senators of the 37th Guam Legislature are here today. I know we have some proud parents who are outside and watching. They want to see their children receive their certificates. Please come in so you can watch them receive their certificates. All right, first we have Speaker Soo-Jin Oh. Speaker, you can give it to her. Okay, we're moving our photo op, okay? To this flag. No, we're gonna stand there. It's gonna be a better picture. Senator Giada Findish, counterpart of Senator Chris Barnett. Thank you very much. Yes, so if any of you are interested in doing this session, please inquire with your school or village mayor about the Guam Youth Congress, because you can do this once a month, every month for 2 years. And get a stipend, that's correct. Rianne Marquez, John F. Kennedy High School, counterpart of Senator Roy Kanata. Prince Ray Tyrone, Senator from Guahan Academy Charter School, counterpart of Senator Jesse A. Lujan. Senator Coyote Chavez, George Washington High School, counterpart of Senator Joanne Brown. GW. Yeah. Thank you. She'll give it to you, okay? Okay, move over to Mr. Lee. Okay, here you go. You can present it. Senator Caleb Tagawa from Louis P. Untalan Middle School, counterpart of Senator Joe St. Augustine. He made his own certificate? Yeah, he is.
It's about money. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. You got two. Hold on the boat.
Senator Kaiden G. Peter, Agata Johnson Middle School, counterpart of Senator William Parkinson. Good job, buddy. Okay, hold on. He'll give it to you. Yes. Senator Elena Manabat, Astumbo Middle School, Senator William A. Parkinson. Senator Gavin Duenas from Teton High School, counterpart of Senator William Parkinson. Senator Sierra Herrera, Guam High School, counterpart of Senator Sabina Perez. Here you go. Peter, so you can Senator Kayla Acevedo, Okadu High School, my counterpart, Senator Amanda Shelton. Also, Vice Speaker Tina Munya Barnes is counterpart. And our Legislative Secretary, Zeta Camacho, Bishop Baumgartner Memorial Catholic School, counterpart of Senator Amanda Shelton. All right, Seduus Masi, everyone. Congratulations to all of our youth leaders. I hope you had a great experience. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you very much. And we'll see you back to our regular session, 2 p.m. on Monday. We will have one group photo in the front.